that pops up here. So these are, if you've got moles, like I've got moles moles are like dark freckles, basically. You get those checked because those can be forms of skin cancer. On the left side are ones that aren't. Like benign means like no big deal. If it says malignant, that's kind of a big deal. So some things you can look at just for your own sake, right? Let's see. There's nothing you need to write down here. I'm not going to ask you about these on a test. These are just for like your own knowledge because whatever, if you can look and determine this, you can figure it out. But if you've got moles and they've got like nice round edges like this, that's a good thing. That means you probably don't have an issue with that. If yours has like cauliflowered edges, or sorry, I'm looking at the one down here. If yours has like cauliflowered edges, that's a bad sign. That's a sign that that may be an issue type of mole, like a skin cancer kind of mole. Up here you can see symmetry, so like if they're symmetrical, if that makes sense, that's a good sign. If they're not symmetrical, that's a bad sign. We can go down a little further. Excuse me. So this one, if your mole is like same color all the way through, bonus. If it's not, if it changes shades on the way through, that's a bad deal. And then finally down here, like ideally, like smaller than the head, the eraser on a pencil is what you're shooting for. The bigger they are, the more likely they are to be issues, if that makes sense. So if you're someone like me that has a lot of these, like I've got moles, like just dark freckles all over me, you get checked every now and again because if they'll identify like particular ones that might be an issue, and they just keep an eye on them when you go back in. But that's the idea behind it. Next one's kind of gross. Yeah, these are lungs. So normal lung tissue, and then one that's been affected by cancer. So just, the effect of what it is, or what it does to your lungs. Kind of takes over. This one's, what's that, Max?
Have you ever felt a lung?
No, Max. So, wonderful. So, what it says up here is the definition of the word tumor. So I'll read that to you just in case. But it says tumors are, you probably know this already, it's just a large mass of cancer cells. Like it's one conglomeration of cancer cells. And then there are two types of tumors. So the first thing you want to get down is that tumors are large masses of cancer cells. And you can have multiple tumors in your body. There are two types of them. There are benign tumors. And if you get cancer, you want the benign type. Benign means like you're going to be okay. They can remove that and it's not a big deal. Benign tumors are cells that have grown, but they are not actively growing or kind of spreading out. They're not going to cause you like life and death issues. So you can get benign tumors and they can be big. They can be, some of the world records, if I'm probably exaggerating on this, but I swear I remember this, like hundreds of pounds. You can get like 100-pound. It's pretty massive, like a big 400-pound blob of stuff you just take out of yourself. So benign tumors don't grow into other things, if that makes sense. The ones you don't want are these. These are called malignant tumors. Malignant tumors are tumors that are actively growing and are spreading out through your body, so you can get them to, it's growing and growing into other stuff. Benign tumors kind of push stuff around. Malignant tumors grow through stuff, like they kind of corrupt everything that's inside of there. And then the last term on this page is... So they have grown, but I guess when I say they're not actively growing, they're not growing like through stuff. They're not like seeking out other areas to grow. They're just like swelling in size, right? And then metastasis down here, this is what got my grandma when she succumbed to cancer. Like you get cancer in one spot, and then those cancer cells will break free within your blood or within your body, and they get pumped around. They find a spot to live, and then that cancerous mass starts there again. So hers started in the lungs because she smoked since she was like 12 or something like that. And then it spread to her brain and everywhere else. By the time she died, she had it just about everywhere in her body. So metastasis, if you develop cancer in your life and this happens, that's a bad prognosis because that means it's at different places in your body. So you can start off with like liver cancer and it'll spread to your lungs or spread around, or So when your cancer metastasizes, that means it like sets up different colonies throughout your body, and it's a bad deal. Kayla? On this thing, on page 41, this is called the Diamante poem. Hopefully this thing goes up high enough that it can be seen on here. Anyway, this thing's a Diamante poem. And what we're going to do is on the top, it's set up specifically, so you're welcome to take a picture of this, but I'll also explain it. At the top is the word mitosis. At the bottom is the word cancer. You can see here and here basically the same thing. ADJ is for adjective. Do you guys remember what an adjective is? Describing word. So 2 words that describe mitosis. Down here, 2 words that describe cancer. Here, 3 verbs that you could associate with the word mitosis. Here, 3 verbs you could associate with the word cancer. And then in the middle on these 4 lines, words that can describe them both. So things that they have in common basically in the middle. So that's the poem part of this. So far, so good there? Okay. Other things, we want a diagram, like some picture you can use to represent mitosis here. A picture you can represent cancer here with. And then these things are 1 paragraph apiece, so 2 paragraphs on here. This one explains how the terms relate to the word mitosis, like including the ones in the middle. So what is the relationship between them and mitosis? So if you put a word in here that's like purple, how does that relate to mitosis? So give me a way that these words relate. And then the same thing here. How do these words relate to the word cancer? So that's the plan. And then I see you guys again tomorrow. Is that true? Okay. So I'll tell you what. If more than 75% of you come with this part of it done tomorrow, I'll give you time in class to do the outside part. If less than 75% of you come with this done tomorrow, I'll just make it due when class starts. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm catching my drift. So, yeah, if you guys show me you got it by doing this tonight, I'll give you time in class to handle the outside stuff tomorrow. If nobody does this tonight, then whatever, it's just due. So that's the plan.